This is where it gets crazy. Hi y'all, this is Jace, she, they, and you found Jace Reads Romance, a community dedicated to empowering women about sex and sexuality through the reading of romance novels. Welcome back to another edition of What I Bought. This is my haul for October of 2025, and it is many books. At this moment, I believe I have bought 90 books. I finally got them all together. I'll also be counting the number of books by authors of color as well as queer stories as we go along. I have tried to count several times on my own before this when they were kind of spread out, and I've gotten different numbers each time, which is why I think this is something we're going to do together. Get your comfy sexy on. I am in my special edition t-shirt. I will show you the book it goes with later. As it is now getting cold outside, my emotional support beverage is tea, and I'll get started on this massive book haul. I typically split these into a few different categories. Number 1 is trophies. Number 2, authors I've already purchased or read. Number 3, new to me authors. Number 4, book events. And number 5, special editions. I think that's where we're going. Now within these categories, I typically split it up a little further, and I'll make sure to clarify as we go along. The first category are trophies. These are books that I've read in some other medium, an ARC, a library book, an audiobook, and I want the physical book with me as well. The first book is Willing Prey by Ellie Oleander. I loved this book. It is a Primal Play book. You can see my review from October. Completely obsessed. So happy. I read it as an ARC. This is Revolve by Bel Cabra. This is the 3rd book in her hockey series. I also got to read this as an ARC. Very lucky. I've already read Collide and Spiral, and I finally got to read Revolve. I love this book so much. This is Our Vicious Oaths by N.E. Davenport. I read The Blood Trials and The Blood Gift by her last year. This is her first official adult romance. It is black fae, so spicy. I am obsessed. I got to read this as an ARC. Also, go and support her. She and her family are going through something super tragic right now. And if either black fae or black dystopian feel like something you want to read right now, you can go to my Goodreads or my Instagram where those are posted. The YouTube video with this book is not out yet. I'll dive into the next category, which is books by authors that I already own or have read. These are books that I bought extra editions of. I have the whole Wicked Villain series by Katie Roberts. She's been re-releasing these as new editions. They're called deluxe editions, and they have annotations within the books as well as extra features at the back of the book. I have been completely in love with every single one that I have, and I have unhauled my previous set of Wicked Villains books to someone who will love them. I am going to unhaul other editions that I have of these 2 books so that the set that I keep actually matches. I'm a little annoyed with how different they all are, but they seem to be bringing everything together so that the sides match, the edges match, and I really only need one of each book because the first one was good, and then I haven't been wowed by the others. These are books by authors that I already own, but I haven't started reading books by them yet. This is Playing to Win by Monica Murphy. Her whole series is being re-released with these new matching sprayed edges. I accidentally, not knowing how long it was going to be or what it was, have the first several in this series, so I wanted to make sure that the ones that I get continue to match. We listen and we don't judge pretty books. A Risk Worth Taking by Jessica Joyce. I was going to an event with Jessica Joyce. I thought she was signing books we were bringing from home. It turns out she wasn't. This is the only novella that I don't have of hers. I was able to get the rest of my books signed earlier in the summer by her, and I just wanted the full set. She wasn't signing books, but now I have it. This is The Damned by Harper L. Woods. The whole series has been released with sprayed edges. I have the first 2. I wanted it to match. We listen, we don't judge, and they're very pretty. The other thing I do like about these books, which makes me feel like I will read them someday, is they are not thick, intimidating hardcovers. They are pretty thin, and I feel like I could get through it quickly, which is different than The Things Gods Break by Abigail Owen. I know I will read the first book in this series. I know I will love it. I love Greek myths. I love fantasy. I love all of it. But when I knew that the second book was coming out so soon, I kept putting off the first book. And now I have the second book. It is beautiful. It matches. And I can read the first book. These are books by authors that I have read. It might be a new series by an author I've read before, or a continuation of a series that I'm in the middle of reading. This is His Grace the Duke by Emily Rath. This is part of her historical Polly series. This is book 2. I have book 1, but I'm committed to finishing the Jacksonville Rays series, or catching up to the Jacksonville Rays before I start this series. I believe it's 3 books altogether. They were indie. They're being re-released as trad, so I have them. They're also, as you might have guessed, very pretty. This is The Devil She Knows by Alexandria Bellfleur. I have read Alexandria Bellfleur in the past. She is a queer author. This is her first paranormal-ish story, and I love PNR. You know I do. I do want to dive into this. Road Trip with a Vampire by Jenna Levine. I have the first 2 books. I've read the first 2 books. My Roommate is a Vampire and My Vampire Plus One are the first 2 books in this series. They're really cute. They're really sweet. The vampires are very dorky and silly in this series so far. So if you're looking for a dark, broody, morally gray that's not what you're gonna find. We have Bitter Burn by Sierra Simone. This is the final book in the Lyonnaise trilogy. I have the first 2 books and I want to read them. I want to read more Sierra Simone. I just don't always feel emotionally safe with her, having gone through the New Camelot series, but I do know that there is some overlap between the New Camelot series and this series, and I love it, and I want to know what happens. So now that it's completed, I might actually go through this series because I don't have to wait anymore for what's going to happen next or how it's going to end. Burning Daylight by Emily McIntyre. Emily McIntyre has a whole fairy tale dark retelling series. That's 7 books, I believe. She was also re-releasing her YA series, but this is, I believe, her first adult series since moving into trad. This is now by Bloom. I like Emily McIntyre both as an author and as a person. I don't think I knew how pretty this book was going to be when I pre-ordered it, which is shocking. I just wanted to go forward with her as an author, and I am pleasantly surprised. You, Juliet, are the sun. So now I feel like it's going to be a Romeo and Juliet retelling because the characters are Juliet and Roman. And you know me, I'm a Shakespeare snob. We're gonna see what happens. She's also thick. A Curse of Shadows and Ice. I don't like the title because it's every bit that stock romantasy BS that we've been getting, but this is Katharina Mora, who wrote the Windsor series, which I have read. I think I'm on book 3, or I've read 3 books of the Windsor series, and I've really enjoyed them. This is her first romantasy, not contemporary, and it got released as trad by Forever. It is also very thin, which I find unusual for romantasy, and so I want to see how she does with the world building, not in a contemporary billionaire situation. Finally, House of Rain by Harley LaRue. I adore Harley LaRue. They are a queer writer. They wrote The Loser's Duet, which I haven't read, but they also have, you've seen them on this before, a demon series, which I love. The book Her Soul to Take, I think, is one of the best intros to dark romance, because while a lot that's happening around these two is dark and there is kink, the relationship between the main characters isn't dark. And so if you're not sure how you handle dark things, I would recommend starting with that, because if you can't handle a dark world, you certainly can't handle darkness between a couple. And this is their new series, House of Rain. They've already announced that there will be more books in this series, and I'm so thrilled for them. The biggest category is book events, specifically because I went to Book Harvest, and I got to meet a lot of new authors, purchase books from authors that I have before, that I've read before. So some of them are trophies, some of them are new, some of them are continuations. It's a whole run the gambit. I had gone to other book events in October, and that's what I'll start with. These 3 are from individual author book events that I went to in October. Lila Sage, Soul Searching. Lila Sage is known for the Rebel Blue Ranch series, a contemporary cowboy romance. This is her toe dipping into PNR. She wrote a ghost book. I don't think it's terribly dark from my understanding of people who've read it, but I did enjoy the Rebel Blue Ranch series, not the fourth book, but the first three, and I want to see how she continues to grow as an author. Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal. I didn't know what this was referencing. I've talked about how I don't understand Christmas. I'm not immersed in Christmas culture, but Megan Quinn came to Chicago last year for her book tour for How My Neighbor Stole Christmas, which I also didn't understand because, again, I've never read The Grinch. And she is just so fun. The book itself was fine. It wasn't my favorite. I listened to the multicast. I wasn't enamored by the audiobook. This audiobook contains a narrator that I really do not love, and so I will not be listening to it as an audiobook. I will be consuming it as a book. She is chaos. I love watching her speak. I love being at events with her. She is so much fun. She was in conversation with another author that was just a delight, and I couldn't have been happier. Regardless of whether I like this book or not, I'm so happy that I got to see her. Final book is Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. This is also B.K. Borison's toe dip into P&R with the ghost of Christmas past haunting the wrong person. It is a Christmas series. She is starting a whole series based on this one. I believe it's going to be a trilogy, as well as her other series based on late 90s, early 2000s rom-coms. So you've got both the early 2000s rom-coms coming out, and you've got these kind of like P&R magical realism Christmassy ghost books. I saw her in conversation. She was actually in conversation with Lila Sage too, and Jessica Joyce. So it was a lot of fun. The three of them together, you can clearly see that they are friends, and it's always a delight to watch friends hang out together. I also drove to Indiana for that event with two of my book friends. These are the books that came in my bag for Book Harvest. I'm including this because while I technically didn't pick out these books, I exchanged money and received books with my ticket for Book Harvest. And now these books live on my shelves. Wicked Angel by Lucy Smoke. I have never heard of Lucy Smoke. I have no idea how this is related to anything. It's book one, which I do appreciate, because when you get a book two or book three in a series as a gift in a swag bag, it can be a little frustrating, though it is super sneaky because I absolutely understand how that would inspire you to buy maybe the first book by that author. She did attend, I believe. I have never heard of her. I've not read her, so I didn't even go get it signed, and that's okay with me. These two are Shane Rose books. They weren't from Shane Rose. They were from a book box company that she did the first two of this series with, and didn't get a contract for the third, but I'm like, that's brilliant, because all of us got these books. They're stunning, and now we want the complete series to get the third book. It is Inevitable and Reverie. I have not read this series by Shane Rose before. I have only read the Hardy Boys Billionaire, but you'll see a little bit later. This is the category of authors that I have read, and I either got trophies or books that I want to read. First author was Evelyn Sola. I read Crave, and so I bought the rest of the trilogy that book is part of, and she was having, like buy two and get the second one at a deal, and so I threw in her holiday novella. Maybe I'll do a little haul of all of my holiday books that I haven't read. That might be fun. This one I might regret for one specific reason. This is For Puck's Sake by Kriya Rayton. I read Shiver by Kriya. This is a collection of a bunch of her hockey books. She had volume 1 with her, but by the time I got to her table, volume 2 was sold out, and I don't know how I get my hands on volume 2. So if you know how, so that I can have both editions. She writes primarily queer hockey romance, and I loved Shiver, so I'm excited for this. Molly Doyle's Order of the Unseen series. I have read Scream for Us. I have read Bloodbath. This is not in the correct order, and she had these special editions. They're so pretty with beautiful covers. I know it's so dark. No, this is so dark. Please go to my reviews of this. It's so dark, but I inhaled it, and now I can just collect and read the rest of the series. I also collected a lot of not safe for work art. These are all of my Cleo Evans books. These are the first two Citrus Cove books. I didn't get the third one because I don't like it as much, but I really enjoyed the first two books. This is her small town romantic suspense with kink. Maybe you'll like the third one. It just wasn't for me. You can certainly go to my reviews on that, but I wanted to get copies of the two that I liked. And I did also get Not Safe for Work art. These are special editions that she won't be reprinting anymore, and so I wanted to get my hands on it. It's the Doves and Demons duology, and they are pretty. They have nice edging. They have beautiful artwork on the books. And Cleo Evans 90% of the time is an absolute must for me, so I figured, why not? Next, I got some Vera Valentine. I want the Door book because everybody acts like they haven't read it or they read it and they barely remember. We all know it's Unhinged and we know it's Vera Valentine, okay? We've read it. Done. Get over yourself. You read a sentient object thing where Zeus creates a door as a human. It makes more sense when you read it. Cold Sweat was recommended to me by my friends at the What in the Smut podcast. It's one of their favorite books, and so I wanted to get it. And then I said, all right, Vera, what do I need? And this is called A Well-Kept Secret. It is, I believe, a swamp monster. I think so. I think it's a swamp monster. I'm not sure. I trusted her. I said, what do I need next? What's the spiciest thing that you have left? Because she had sold out of a lot that I haven't purchased yet. And this is what she gave me. So 2 new, 1 that I've already read. This is Chokehold by Lee Rivers and Harley Beck. This is one of the darkest, tabooiest books that I've read. It's an M.M. Step Brothers romance, and it redefined what dark romance is to me. And so I felt like I really did need a copy. I accidentally summoned a Demon Boyfriend by Jessica Cage. Don't make fun of me. I participated in her Kickstarter to get special editions of all of her books, but I saw this one and I just loved it. It's a naked hardcover. I love a naked hardcover. I have read this book. It's got tentacles, even though he doesn't have tentacles. I don't care that he doesn't have tentacles. I loved her. She was on a panel and was one of the most well-spoken people on it, and so even knowing that I've got the special editions coming, I wanted to get a copy of the book and chat with her a little bit more. So here we go. I purchased the first 2 books, maybe the only 2 books in Joe Brenner's hockey series. I've been reading Joe Brenner's military dark romance kidnapping poly something something, and I adore Joe, and so I knew that I was going to be getting her hockey series at some point because I do like hockey, I do like the dark, and she's been talking about it for a while, so I got both of those with their sprayed edges. Cursed Captors Volume 1 by Nisha J. Tooley. I was so sad that she couldn't go to the event anymore, but she had these editions with her assistant for sale, and I was very lucky to get one. I also got some vellum overlays for Trial of the Sunk for the Artifacts of Oronos series, which I love, and this is just such a gorgeous special edition. Like, sorry, I had to make sure that it was safe for work. It is safe, but it's a beautiful special edition book. This is almost not safe for work art in the book itself, and I gotta tell you, I'm all here for it. Even though I wasn't able to see her, that made me sad. I was glad that I was able to grab a copy of this. So when I went to Shane Rose's table, and I couldn't get the 3rd book in that series because it was a special edition book box one, I said, you know that series that I keep talking about where the guys are married to the Hardy brothers' sisters and they're morally gray and I love them every single time they make an appearance? I want them. And so that's the trilogy I got. It's Shattered Vows, Fractured Freedom, Corrupted Chaos. These seem to be morally gray men, and I am all here for it. I think that's the spice that I need when I'm reading a billionaire romance, is they have to be morally gray. They just can't be. They can't be a goody two-shoes all the time. Final 2 are special edition books by Elizabeth Stevens, Lord of Population, which I listened to as an audiobook, and then Dark City Omega, which was one of my favorite reads of 2024. It's almost inappropriate. It's not, nothing's showing. But I loved these. These are special editions that she did in collaboration with an indie bookstore, and they were selling them, and I knew that I had to get them because I love her so much. These are authors I already own, but they had special editions, and so I wanted to collect them. These 2 authors are also incredibly good friends. They have done multiple events together. They're next to each other at the book events, the big cons, and so I kind of love it. These are by Cynthia Rodriguez. It's her duology, Love Fool and Love Sick. These are special editions. They came with art. She's someone that I know of, but I haven't read these yet, and I haven't read her yet. Evelyn Lee, this is Elevator Pitch and Shadowed Obsession. I have some of these already. These are the special editions. They are annotated, I believe. Yep, these are annotated, which I love, and they also come with spicy art. So I think that's really cool that authors are starting to really include themselves in the reading experience for readers with special editions. Not necessarily every book, but if that's something that you're into, you can now find that and feel like you get to be in conversation with the author while you're reading it. Part 1 of authors that I haven't read and don't own, but bought books from them at Book Harvest. Santana Knox is someone that I've heard about for years. She primarily writes dark romance, but I saw that she has, it's a queer, I think, Little Shop of Horrors inspired story, and so I said that's the one that I'm going to start with rather than some of the others. I can't show you the art that I bought with it at all. I have no idea. I'm wondering if this might have been I don't think it's a book that came with it, but it might be, but it looks like a dark romance. I'm so sorry. I have no idea. I don't remember. It's not a bad thing, but if you know who this is, Lady Darkness, C.J. Willis, please let me know. I'm pretty sure it came in my bag now that I'm looking at it. Heather Nix I went to because I was talking about queer Hades Persephone retellings, and apparently this, and the person I was talking to immediately went, you have to go get this book from Heather. And I went, okay. And so I walked up to her and I said, Hades Persephone retelling, but queer? And she went, yes. And so that's all I know about this. I read Captive in the Underworld. I couldn't remember the name at the table, and she immediately knew what it is because that's, you know, her jam. So I'm very excited to read another queer retelling of Hades and Persephone. This is a fantasy book with, let's go with British Isles mythology. There's a Selkie and a Kelpie. Selkies are seal shifters and Kelpies are horse shifters, and they team up. And I remember chatting with the author, and it just sounded like a really interesting book. Also, Selkies have a really awful history in mythology. If you've never looked it up, it's really terrible. But I hope this one seemed to be a redeeming, less violence against Selkies and more redeeming for Selkies. These two books are by Tristan Cone, Under Lock and Key and Playing for Keeps. I believe this one is the second one. Hold on, which one's second? Ooh, Liana de la Rosa. So this is the book that I was really interested in because it's a queer straight presenting couple, but it is in a series, so I needed the first book to kind of understand the world, and that's why I have them together. And they're also pretty. I've heard too many things about Fairy by Veronica Lancet not to get it, especially because she was there and could sign it for me. I do like how even though she's chonky, she's floppy. I thought I would read it as a Kindle version so I wouldn't know how long it is, but now I have it. God, I love artwork. I have the book now. If you've read it, let me know what you thought, but I've heard great things. I wanted queer BIPOC romance. That's it. I don't care how thick these are. These are by Chelsea J. Leon. It's Scars Like Wings, Memories Like Fangs. I am all here for it. She has these editions. We chatted for probably 5 minutes. Like, if you can get a block of time to talk with an author, it is so worth it. Chelsea J. Leon primarily writes, she's a woman of color, and she primarily writes queer romance. And so if you're someone who's really looking to dive into queer romance written by people of color, she's got a whole back catalog for you. I don't know why these were the ones that I chose. Probably because of the art that they come with. I can't show it to you. That's okay. Last part of my haul from Book Harvest. Ambrosia R. Harris was someone that I met there. She has a whole Greek myth inspired series. And by the time I got to her table, she was sold out of some of the books in the series, which I was so happy about. These were the 3 that were left, and I ordered the other ones to be delivered later. So you'll most likely see them in a future haul video. It's not even the first book. It's Hades, Demeter, and 3 Years with Ares. This isn't even the start of the series, but I didn't care. She's a woman of color writing Greek myths, and I love Greek myths, and I think that anyone should be able to can tell them, and put beautiful insight into them. So when I get the first book in this series, I cannot wait to dive into it. O'June Brown had, I don't know what sign it was, but it was like BIPOC, fae, warrior, fantasy, and I went, thank God that wasn't a not safe for work pick. And I went, yes, I need it. So this is a duology, Onyx and Ivory, Flames and Fury. And the covers are stunning. Look at these covers. I am so excited for these. I was chatting with her. New adult-ish fantasy fighting. I think everything that we love in a fantasy novel. I also love that they're not too thick. Sometimes you want fantasy that's quick, and sometimes you want a fantasy that you're going to take 4 days to read. This is definitely for that first one. But again, look at this cover. I think it was the cover. I saw this and I went, you have to tell me more about this. And I was hooked. I'm not sure I needed to buy the rest of the series. I haven't read the first one by Juliet Cross, but she was there. And so I thought, might as well buy the rest of the series since it's here and have her sign it. I might switch. I don't know. Have you read any of these? Did you like any of these? I have the first one. I love P&R so much, which is why I bought the first book in the series. And yeah, I'm not sure if I needed all of these, but it seemed like a why not situation, and that is my problem. I think I messed up. These are both by Fallon English, and I think it's the exact same book, just 2 different editions, and I didn't realize it. I thought it was a duology. It might be just one book, The Princess and the Pack. That's my bad. I don't have anything by Fallon English. I haven't read Fallon English, but these are very pretty. See, this one says one, and I thought this was 2. I think though I'm wrong, and it was a friend of mine who had bought both of these, and I just assumed she bought them because they were a duology and not because they were pretty. That's on me, I think. I spent very little time in actual bookstores in October, which is sad. I love my bookstores. I love my indie bookstores, my local bookstores here in Chicago. But I found this in Indiana when I went to the BK Vorson event. The cover caught my eye. The edges caught my eye. It's also Scotland. It's witchy, but it's not holiday-y. Sometimes I need a break from, I want witches and I want magic in the fall that aren't holiday. I saw this and I went, why not? Steamy men in kilts, lightning quick banter, and ancient curses. So this is my only new to me author purchased outside of a book event. Isn't that crazy? These are all my special editions from Probably Smut. The actual book of the month book was Willing Prey, which I didn't realize when they announced it because I hadn't read my arc yet, but that's what this shirt says. It says, I love running to the bookstore. It's a Primal Play book, and so the running is really funny. I loved it so much. As always, I will show you the matching tabs and stickers. I realized I'm not good at getting my camera to focus on stickers, so these are the tabs. Stickers say Primal Play. Oh my gosh, this is a quote. Fuck pride, fuck dignity. She can have everything as long as it ends with me having her. Oh my God, Shane. I love him. Kink positive. Yes, it is. And then run, because the way he tells her they're about to start playing is by sending her a message on her watch. For Pride Month, Probably Smut had these 3 books as a pre-order. They came the week after Book Harvest, which was so annoying because 2 of these authors were at Book Harvest and I could have gotten them signed. So I have another copy of Stolen Chances by Cleo Evans, which I loved. I really loved that one in the Citrus Cove series. This is Napkins and Other Disasters by M.A. Wardell, who I have not read yet, but was at Book Harvest. And then Paint the Moon by Katya Rose. So we've got an MMF, an MM, and an FF, and I love it. I love that they were promoting these I would love that they were promoting these for Pride. The editions are beautiful, and I'm just sad that I didn't get them, 5 days earlier. These are my Cover Snob special editions. The first one is Mia Sosa's When Javi Dumped Mari. I have a regular edition, but this was part of my subscription. I think this was part of my subscription with Cover Snob. I'm not 100% sure. I think that they are getting better and better with their sprayed edges. Not that they were ever bad, but they're able to get more complex. Their designs are really stunning, especially on the outside edge. The top and bottom seem to be a little more plain typically, but I'm not bothered by that when you get such a stunning book. I knew you'd see her later. This is Elevator Pitch by Evelyn Lee. I got to see her at Book Harvest, as you saw, and even though I have this edition, I wanted the edition that she had with her annotations. It is a naked hardcover, which I love. This edition has printing on the top and the bottom as well. So it's not just the one side fits most. And I think it's just a beautiful, beautiful book. I want to clarify, I think last month I was confused. My Skyland series from last month was by Cover Snob. This is the Bad Women Books edition. Yes, I now have 3 full sets of the Skyland series. I have a regular set, I have Cover Snob, I have Bad Women Books, and I actually have extra copies of Before I Let Go and Can't Get Enough. I'm not mad about it because it's incredible. So this is the Bad Women Books version. They did 3 different edges that stand alone and match the covers. So this is Before I Let Go. It matches that orange. Beautiful. It's all the way around. We've got This Could Be Us. So it's pink all the way around. I love the little embossing of the flowers on the covers as well. And then we've got Hendrix, my fave, which is purple. So it's definitely the most separate of the colors regarding the series itself, but I think they're stunning. I think the ombre underneath the flowers is just beautiful, and I have no regrets about having 3 full sets, 3 2/3 full sets of this series. Final special edition is from A New Space. These are all from the Bookish Box bookstore. I did get a subscription, but these I bought separately. It is the full series by Maria V. Snyder. I have read the first 3 books, and my friend keeps telling me to read the last 3 books, but Poison Study, Magic Study, Fire Study were, I can't even tell you, the books themselves are so good. The fantasy world is so good. And to my recollection, it is the first example of a trans human that I've ever remembered reading, even though the human that I'm referring to is in the closet the whole series, or at least the first 3 books. In the closet, doesn't tell anyone that they are trans. But looking back on it, it's the first example of a trans human that I can remember reading about. And not only did I love the series, but once I remembered that, it really holds a special place in my heart. And so I bought the whole series. I'm just going to show you Poison Study because going through everything for each book would be a lot. So while these are all hardcovers and they've got book jackets, the book jackets are beautiful. They are in fact reversible, so you can reverse the book jacket. I think it's so stunning. And the books themselves are also embossed on the outside, front, and back. They've got beautiful end pages. Same on the front, same on the back. And then these stunning sprayed edges that have meaning to the story. I am so happy. I sent a video to my friend and she literally died because we read these in high school together, or at least I read the first 3 because the second 3 didn't come out until I think I was in college, and by that point I kind of lost touch with the series. I know, it's sad. I did a lot of rereading in college rather than reading new books. After all of that, I did indeed buy 90 books. We listen and we don't judge. 32 of them were by authors of color, which is 35.5555%. 22 of them were queer stories, which is 24.4444%, which I think is pretty decent for me. Let me know if you've read any of them. Let me know what you purchased in the month of October. Like and subscribe so you get notified on all future videos, including what I purchased in November. And until next time, this is Jace, holding space for you.